What up? Welcome back to the rotation. I'm your host, Dominique. We're about to get into a new week of music. Aren't you excited? I hope you got a chance to look back at last week's rotation. If not, you can find them in my stories or on my channel. But also, I had a feature come out this week on Little Simz, who is an artist that I highly admire. If you haven't checked her out or checked out that feature, you should do so at the link below. Or if you're watching on IG, the link in my bio. But let's get into this week's new music, shall we? So this week's featured album is Jamie by Brittany Howard. Jamie is the debut solo album from Brittany Howard, who is more relevantly known as the lead singer and guitarist for the Alabama Shakes. This album is somewhat dedicated to her late sister, who passed away of a rare eye cancer. But it's not necessarily about her sister. It's more of an exploration of self. Some of the themes that are in this album are religion and sexuality and personal identity. And so it's a very deep album. It's a very soothing but also haunting album. And musically, it's super dynamic. She actually took the time to compose almost every track on this album. She wrote all the lyrics. She obviously had some of her bandmates with her, but this is a truly personal album, and it feels like that. So if you haven't checked out Jamie, please do so. It is a necessary listen to this year. And you can find my favorite tracks in the playlist this week. The one that stands out to me probably more than anything is Short and Sweet. A track that's pretty much exclusively on piano and just her vocals. And so that's that. Another great album that came out this week was Lessons in Love by Sinead Hartnett. Sinead Hartnett is a R&B singer out of London. And this album is sort of highly anticipated. She's given us a few mixtapes and EPs in the past. In fact, some of those songs are featured on this album. But it is a good, to me, it's like a solid, good album. From start to finish, some of the themes included in it are motherhood and independence and heartbreak and love. And so if you haven't checked it out, you should. My two standout tracks on that one are All That You Are and Be the One, which is technically an interlude. But to me, if there's a piece of music that lasts more than 2 minutes and has like a chorus, and it's a song, but it's fine. It says that it's an interlude. I let it be an interlude. We have no featured EPs this week, which is like kind of sad. I don't know. I feel like people are either prepping for an album or they put out the EP, whatever. Totally fine. But in terms of singles, we do have quite a few of those. I'm not going to name all of them. You can check them out in the playlist, and that will also be linked. But I do have two that stood out more than anything. The first one is by a band that I know and love, literally because I know and love these two women. Sister. They have a single that came out called Chambers. They have worked on this super, super hard, so I'm very proud of them, and I'm happy to get to feature them this week. And then my second featured single of the week is Mountains by Charlotte Day Wilson. Charlotte Day Wilson always gives us something haunting and smooth and soothing. This one features rain, like actual raindrops. It's great. It's called Mountains. If you haven't checked it out, you should check out both of those too. Like I said, all this music will be featured in this week's playlist. So if you haven't been following the playlist, and when I say this week's playlist, I don't even know why I say this week's, because it's definitely a month's worth of music. Like, it's almost 100 tracks. You can't say that you don't have new music. I'm giving you new music, so just put it on shuffle and be free. Or you can listen to it in order too. Each week is actually like, I kind of like make it a vibe, but it's added to a playlist that I've been making over the month. So that will be linked as well in both the article and in the description down below and in my link tree. If you want to check out last week's article or the feature, make sure you do those things. And if you have any ideas or things that you want me to review, let me know. You should follow me at D_creative. And until next week, peace, y'all.